What's up, everybody? Dune Prophecy premiered this weekend, going back 10,000 years from the movies. But before we get into my review, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you're not missing out on any breakdowns, reviews, and the daily news throughout the week. With that being said, let's get into the episode. The episode started with this quick 10-minute flashback, and it was a mixed bag like most of the episode was. I thought the final moment between Valia and the Mother Superior was a strong moment here, but overall, it didn't carry much weight for me. There's a great sandworm shot mixed in, though, which credit where credit is due. The visuals were strong in this episode, and the editing of the Mother's last visions were good too. But again, it just didn't strike the right chord as far as the script was concerned. And speaking of chords, I wasn't a fan of how they did the voice in this show. To be fair, it could be that they simply don't have the theater sound system boost, but it just didn't hit the same. This was another low impact scene for me too, while also catching my interest in Valia going forward in the show because she's damn sinister. Then once we're into the present day for this story, I found myself enjoying Mark Strong's scenes, and really only Mark Strong's scenes in the first half of the episode. He brought the energy the movie cast brings to this universe, and the Emperor's story of being in the middle of the chaos that's going on brought a great hook, and he also had good chemistry with Jodie May, the Empress, holding both of the most interesting storylines, at least to me, up until this point. But that scene between the Empress and the Emperor kind of ended up being a turning point as the episode picked up in the back half, at least in regards to keeping my interest in the show going forward after this week, as it was dropping rapidly in the first 30 or so minutes. The more Bene Gesserit we got, the more I was finding myself grabbing onto ideas, but it all comes down to the script not being as strong as the movie scripts at the end of the day. Like, we've got a Harkonnen sister beef forming and one of the Bene Gesserit sisters in distress from a mystery power, but it can only be so good if the execution is off, which unfortunately it was here in this episode. The one thing I will say is, despite the shaky execution throughout, there were enough interesting concepts in this premiere that I'm not throwing the show to the side after 1 week. The best scene of the episode was yet to come too, as we got to the marriage proposal or wedding. I'm not completely sure what they even call this in the world of Dune, but it was great. The little prince absolutely stole the show the entire episode with this single line saying it's all just a formality, pretty much telling Princess Yanez to shut the hell up. It was the first moment that got a genuine reaction out of me in this episode, positive or negative. Sarah Sophie Busnina, the princess, also had a great moment here, putting the fear of God in this little boy after his thinking machine lizard got loose. The premiere closed on an incredibly strong note, with Desmond Hart emerging as probably my favorite character so far. He has a great scene with the Emperor, warning of the Bene Gesserit, and he just feels, kind of like a Littlefinger type character, which he's one of my favorites in Game of Thrones, but he can also, or Desmond Hart that is, he can also kick your ass. He can even do it without getting his hands dirty, as he brutally murdered the prince, and Kasha, one of the Bene Gesserit sisters, died the same way, seemingly at or around the same time among her sisters. I thought that was just an okay finale though, even with the strong finish. It really just comes down to the script not being as strong as some movies that are set in the same universe, but it didn't even need to match those, just get closer than it did. But I thought the visuals, the score, and most of the performances were strong here, giving me some hope for the rest of the show. And so that'll do it for my review of the first episode from Dune Prophecy. I think, fair or unfair, The Penguin being an HBO show, a show set in a great movie universe, and having its finale just last week, definitely impacted my feelings on this, because it set a high standard for this type of thing. You've got to at least keep the same energy, or as I felt with this episode, things can go from fascinating to boring real quick. Let me know what you thought of the premiere though down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.